Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into the Big Friday Kickoff Podcast. I'm your sports director, Emily Cochran. Joining me is our digital producer, Robert Ristaneo. Robert, we are in week 7.
It's crazy.
More than halfway through. Another thing, if you're listening, hopefully you're listening not just on YouTube or on our website, but we are now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for the very first time. Super excited. It only took 7 weeks, but we're here.
Yeah, it's like we're finally official, you know?
Yeah, officially official.
Yeah, it's cool. And hopefully we'll be able to get video on Spotify soon, too, because right now we are audio only on there, but I think, it's a big first step, so
yeah,
we're pretty
definitely.
excited.
This has definitely been a new thing for us this season, but we've had so much fun with it. We appreciate all y'all's support and following and listening to us sit here and ramble about a little bit of high school football, college football, NFL. We've absolutely enjoyed every week getting to bring you the best stuff down here on the Alabama Gulf Coast, and we've got a jam-packed week coming your way here in week 7. But before we get into that, we got to talk about last week's games. A lot of non-region play, but that doesn't take away anything from it, because if there's anything we've learned is like when you have these tiebreaker situations, they're looking at your non-region opponents and how you won that game and what their wins look like. I mean, it came down to it last year when it was Gulf Shores, I think McGill and Theodore.
Yep.
So definitely important. Doesn't matter that it's not a region game. Technically no playoff implications, but when you get in a tiebreaker situation, these games really, really matter. So let's go ahead and get into our Big Friday Kickoff game. We went out to Theodore for their matchup with Fairhope. This was so much fun.
So much fun, but shocking, right? I mean,
the final score, I don't think neither one of us could have predicted what the result was going to be.
Yeah, no. Fairhope wins this one 31-7. Trey Gardner had a monster game, 11 for 16, 241 yards, 4 touchdowns. It seemed like Fairhope beat Theodore with big plays because, I mean, you look at the totals, 241 yards on 11 completions. They ran it for 156 yards, about 5 yards a carry. But, I know Fisher Southall in particular had 2 huge catches. I mean, he had 4 catches for 102 yards. And Kendrick Abel did his thing in this game. 16 carries, 163 yards.
He did as much as he could, to be completely honest, with what Fairhope, that defense was giving him.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like they just couldn't get their way into the end zone, And like I said, Fairhope, they were on point this whole game. Does this outcome change anything that you think about when it comes to Fairhope competing in 7A with MGM, Baker, and Daphne? Because they still have yet to play those 3. So
that's what I'm saying. Like they're going to be playing Foley this week, and then they'll probably get the win in that one. That's very likely. But they still haven't played Mary G. Montgomery. They're going to host Daphne and Mary G. Montgomery, so they're going to have that home field advantage. But then they travel to West Mobile to take on Baker. I mean, you're going through the gauntlet when it comes to the end of your schedule. That's how you wrap up the regular season. Like, Theodore was a really, really good test for them going into the back half of their season because they faced their 3 hardest opponents in the back half of this one. So, it shows me that Fairhope's probably going to get that 4th and final playoff spot.
Yeah, we'll definitely know this week. They've got Foley, which is probably their biggest competition for that 4 seed. So assuming they just take care of business there, they should own the tiebreaker over everybody for that 4th spot.
I would think so. And that win over Theodore, I mean, it kind of like if you get into a tiebreaker situation, like that helps them.
Sure, yeah,
so
no doubt.
That's important. I mean, they do have that loss at the beginning of the season to Spanish Fort, but I mean, I think Fairhope's kind of been on the rise since losing their season opener, and Spanish Fort's been on the decline. So it's just, I think this was a really, really big win for Fairhope. They needed this one. When I went to, when we wrapped up with Big Friday Kickoff, I always go and talk to both head coaches before I head out to get back to the studio. And I talked to Tim Carter. And, I mean, I was really thinking going into this one, like even when I was kind of talking to him, I didn't say it in so many words, but I was like, yeah, coach, I mean, this is a tough one for y'all tonight. Like, this Theodore team's better than what y'all went up against last year. And I think that final score last year was, 15-7?
15-7, yeah.
And Theodore won.
Right.
So when I, talking to coach, I was like, this is a difficult team you're going up against. And even he said it. He was like, man, well, I hope we can get this one. I didn't get the impression that he necessarily felt confident.
Right.
But then again, he's talking to me and I'm the media, so he could be giving me that, that trick, the sleight of the hand,
Sure.
Doing some some trickery on me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he didn't look extremely confident. But you know what? They went in there and on the road and took care of business against a really, really good 6A team. And I don't think it really takes anything away from Theodore. I mean, they've looked good so far this season. They were coming off that huge win over St. Paul's the week before. That was just an absolute barn burner down to the wire to get that 42-41 win over St. Paul's. So, I mean, I think maybe this was just a down week for Theodore, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird. We haven't seen anyone really shut them down like this. I mean, even in their loss to Baker, they put up 31. Their last 4 wins, 28, 27, 41, 42, So to come out and just have 7 points, Fairhope really locked in on them. And maybe what Fairhope did to them is a blueprint for other teams as they go into the back end, because they get a break these next 2 weeks with Murphy and a bye. Mm-hmm. But then they get Gulf Shores, and then they're at Saraland and at Blunt. But, the Gulf Shores and Saraland games are going to be really important for them.
I would say so.
Especially looking at what they've gone through so far. That Saraland game will be for the region because, assuming they beat Gulf Shores, that's going to be 2 undefeated region teams if Saraland takes care of business up until that point. So that will be for the region title in that game.
It just shows you how much more important that win over St. Paul's was.
Oh, absolutely.
St. Paul's didn't shut them down. St. Paul's just kept up with them offensively. I mean, that was a track meet from start to finish, and it was just whoever scored last in that one.
And Theodore had to come back in that one.
They did. They were down. I think at halftime they were down by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, it just shows that this team is relentless. Maybe that didn't show so much this week, but I think you can't take away from what they've done throughout the season. So definitely going to want to bounce back and keep rolling. And you got some big opponents ahead, some very important matchups. So.
Well, we need to. We should have gotten confirmation about this week. I won't give up who our source was, but a somewhat reliable, somewhat unreliable source said that the scoreboard broke, so this game just ended.
Yeah, okay, but you gotta keep. That's not a sports person that told us this.
I'm well aware.
We're not gonna call him out.
I'm gonna rat out this person, but
the scoreboard just broke and the game just ended.
I hope that didn't happen. I can't imagine it did.
I highly doubt that's what happened. We never found out one way or another.
No,
we just assumed nah, no way.
Yeah, right.
So interesting. The final in that one was 31-7. Just an interesting, unexpected final score, and definitely an unexpected. I did not think that the Fairhope was going to win this one, and they proved me wrong. So good for the Pirates, and hopefully they're going to roll into the back half of the season, get that win over Foley, and then we're really going to see what they're made of when they go up against Mary G. Montgomery, Daphne, and Baker.
Yeah,
so going to be interesting to see how the rest of their season plays out. Hopefully they will get that 4th and final spot. So. Now let's move on and talk about our game of the week. Dacian Smith covered this one. This was UMS Wright at TR Miller. I was a little surprised by this final score. Were you?
Not particularly, because I think UMS is really good, and I think that offense is really good. And when you get into the class discrepancy between 3A and 5A, I think that good 5A teams are going to take care of good 3A teams, for the most part, just in a vacuum. But no, I wasn't entirely surprised by this game. Very cool moment before this game with Kinlett that our Dacian Smith shot. We have that up on our website. Honored him and the first responders. Obviously, he's the player who broke his neck last year in this game, and he's had a long road to recovery and been very inspirational to a lot of people. And so that was a very cool moment before the game that they had.
His community rally around him. I mean, Terry Curtis was there, longtime UMS head coach, now retired. I just think it was really cool to do that before the game got started. I mean, first play of the game last year in this matchup, that happens. And, of course, Kinlett is in our thoughts and prayers as he continues to recover and move on from this injury as best he can. But the final in this one was 29-6. I don't know if we said that.
Yeah.
But it looks like that chaos on grass is doing its magic once again.
Well, it's kind of interesting when you look at this box score. TR Miller, this is kind of the first game that it seems like the chaos on grass was a little messed with. I mean, this is Max Fowler's worst game of the season by far. I mean, he was only 9 for 20 for 104 yards, touchdown, 2 interceptions. but they ran the ball almost 40 times for 246 yards, 6 yards a carry.
That run game, T.R. Miller just couldn't stop it.
Yeah, and T.R. Miller, conversely, 32 times for only 81 yards. They couldn't really get the ball moving at all. They alternated quarterbacks in the game. So, yeah, I mean, this was honestly, I think the story from this one is a good UMS defense. You know, I think they showed up and really got the Tigers out of rhythm. And, I'm not totally surprised. No real implications, like we said last week, with these non-region games on the postseason when it comes to these teams. But, yeah, I mean, good showing if you're UMS that you can go into a game and your offense not totally be clicking.
And still come out with a win.
But you can still come out with a win on the road.
Absolutely. Well, UMS is getting ready to host Citronelle this week. T.R. Miller going head-to-head against the Tootle brothers and a very, very hot Cottage Hill team. We're going to get into those games here in just a little bit. But first, we need to get into Hustlin' Hal's game. This was probably one of my favorite games of the week. A huge rivalry across the bay between Spanish Fort at Daphne. Now, this was a good one.
Yeah.
And Daphne was down 14-0 at one point, and they battled back. We've seen them do it before. They did it against McGill-Tulane. They did it against Baker. And Friday night, they did it again. I mean, Trojans quarterback Christian Seeger getting the win over his former team. As we know, and in case you don't, this was Aiden Schamberger's backup last year. And head coach Kenny King said Seeger was nervous going into this one. We kind of figured that this was going to be, emotions are going to be heightened in this game. But even though he was nervous, he's really settled in and went to work. He completed 77% of his passes, threw for 353 yards, 5 touchdowns. And that's exactly why he was our Richest Car Wash Player of the Week. If you haven't seen that, it is up on our website. Going into this one, Spanish Fort was 11-3 over Daphne in this rivalry. Kenny King has said time and time again that this matchup has been a thorn in his side, and they wanted this one extremely bad. And they came out with a 42-28 win. I think this is huge for Daphne. This Daphne team looks really, really good. And when I talked to Kenny King yesterday when we went out to present that award to Christian Seeger, I just said, Coach, y'all look really, really good this year. I mean, when I was talking to Pigskin Pete on the radio after Friday night's games, he asked me. He said, "What's the number one team from our area that's really surprised you?" And I told Coach, I was like, "Coach, y'all like Kenny King, like." Daphne has been the team that surprised me. I think that they just look really good. They always are notorious for having a really good defense, but this year's offense just looks so, so good.
Yeah, especially this passing game. I mean, they've had a lot of games this year where they haven't run the ball particularly well, but, you just rattled off his stats. I mean, yeah, that was... he has been putting on a clinic week in and week out. I'm curious, actually, where he ranks now in 7A passers, because he's got to be near the top.
I mean, it seems like he's the guy that kind of came in, and he's just like the spark that lit the match, the flame, the gas. Like, he's really
he's the second leading passer in 7A right now, and it feels like it. It feels like he's really leading this team week in and week out, every time we look at it. So,
and you love to see that.
Yeah.
Like, you love an underdog story. This is a guy that's a backup to Aiden Schamberger, who was an extremely talented quarterback at Spanish Fort, committed to South Alabama, and then he transfers to Daphne and really gets a chance to show what he's made of and really gets a time to shine. And that's something that Daphne has needed and kind of lacked previous years, is what they've been able to do on offense.
Sure.
Christian Seeger comes in, takes control, and he's just taking care of business. So just to see that potential, what he can do, finally getting that to see that, is super happy for him, and congratulations to him for being our Richest Car Wash Player of the Week.
Yeah, and now you look at if you're Daphne, they're kind of the inverse of Fairhope, where their last 4 games, Davidson, Alma Bryant, Fairhope, Robertsdale, Fairhope is easily their biggest test right there out of those 4 games, but the other 3, those are pretty much slam dunk wins, I would think. I mean, does Robertsdale on the road present a little spoiler potential, for the last week of the season, and you start looking ahead? I think they could.
Don't be crazy.
But I don't think it'll happen.
Don't be crazy.
But I think you're looking at like a 9-1 season, 8-2. MGM will hold that tiebreaker over them, but I think. You're pretty happy looking at the rest of the schedule if you're Daphne.
Yeah, I think they look good, and maybe it's wrong for me to say that they surprised me. I guess I don't know. It just they are hot right now.
They are.
It's one of the don't let the Trojans get hot. They're hot.
Yeah, they are.
They're hot.
They are.
So really excited to see how the back half of their season plays out, and they're going to be that number 2 team potentially in 7A Region 1. So
right.
we know how difficult it is in 7A to get through the playoffs and get to the final game, and Daphne keeps playing the way they're playing. We might see some shakeups in 7A this year.
Yeah, I mean, they'll at least get a home game, you know what I mean? Which is huge, especially in 7A where there's only 30 teams and they're kind of all either up north, or our little cluster down here. So, I think having that home field advantage will be big. And then, conversely, you look at Spanish Fort, they're sitting at 500 on the year. They still go at Gulf Shores. They still host St. Paul's. They go at McGill, host Blunt.
It doesn't get any easier for Spanish Fort. It really doesn't.
No, but they have gotten, they've gotten through Theodore. They've gotten through Saraland. Both losses, though.
Exactly.
That they're going to have to, they're sitting at 2-2 in the region, and that could easily be 4-4 or 3-5 or, so, I don't know. I've been saying it all year. I'm not super high on this Spanish Fort team, and
these poor Spanish Fort fans are probably not a fan of you.
No, I know, but they did show something in this game. I mean, they got up 14-0 in the first quarter on Daphne.
Yeah, they did. They did. But the thing is, it's not about how you start; it's about how you finish. You've got to be able to finish games like this.
Right.
I mean, it's about the score at the end of the game.
Yes.
So if they can get up and get these points, you got to hold on to that lead. Then your defense has to be able to hold on, and they could not do that Friday night. So huge win for Daphne. So that kind of wraps up our slate of games from last week. Let's go ahead and get into this week's games.
Real quick before we move on, can I touch on just a few under the radar games that I wanted to mention?
Go ahead.
Before we get into to this week.
Don't let me get ahead of myself here.
Yes. Robertsdale beats Orange Beach 22-18. They're sitting at 3-3 on the year.
I hate that I didn't mention that. I'm glad that you did, because that in itself, I just didn't expect it. Look at Robertsdale.
They're sitting at 3-3 on the year. This is the most wins they've had since 2021. More wins than their previous 3 seasons combined.
Look at Robertsdale.
Yeah, I know.
Engine that could.
Cub Jones, son of Coach Jones, the coach of Robertsdale, he was 16 for 22, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had a 54-yard run to take the lead at the end of the game.
So dual threat.
Yeah, he had 77 yards on the ground. So shout out to the Bears. I wanted to mention them.
Give them some love.
Give them a little love, yeah. Clark County Millery, we talked a lot about Clark County earlier on in the year because we were covering a lot of their games. And I think after they had started 0-2, we kind of looked at them and was like, this isn't really the Clark County that we've been used to. They lost a lot from last year. Peebo Pugh,
what a name.
Our quarterback up there at Clark County, they beat Millery 26-7. Millery's been one of the hotter teams in 1A Region 1. And Pugh was 10 for 14, 204 yards, 3 touchdowns. In his first 2 games that they lost, he was 7 for 14 for 64 yards and a touchdown, had 5 rushes for negative 24 yards. They've won their last 4, and in those games, he's gone 34 of 48 for 500 yards, 7 touchdowns, 28 carries for 172 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. So he has gone completely night and day from those first 2 losses.
A switch flip.
Yeah, to leading them on 4 straight wins, and they're starting to look like they're rounding into form a little bit.
Good for them.
Yeah,
good
down
for
in 2A.
County.
Flomaton bounced back against Jay. They had that tough one against Bayside.
Yeah, I'm never going to let you live that one down.
A couple weeks ago.
That was tough.
They got back to running the ball. Zy Martin had 109 yards and touchdown. Antoine Bowen had 70 yards and touchdown. They held Jay to 134 total yards. So defense locked back in. Running game stepped back up. Flomaton bounces back against a rival. Blackshear beats Excel. Blackshear bounces back after their loss to Clark County. Ran the ball 54 times for 348 yards. Hunter White for Blackshear. He's the 9th leading rusher in 2A. He had 108 yards in this game and a passing touchdown. And then last but not least, because I feel like we have not talked about this team at all, and I at least want to give them a shout out because They're the 8th ranked team in 1A right now. Southern Choctaw beats Linden. They're undefeated on the year.
Look at Southern Choctaw.
Second best scoring defense in 1A. They are only giving up 5.6 points per game. And they've got 8 picks, 7 fumble recoveries, and 3 defensive touchdowns. Like, this team just locks people down.
Love that.
Ray Bender, a guy that I gave some love to in the preseason, 169 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 316 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns. He's a quarterback, running back hybrid. They run the ball a lot. They don't throw very much. Kyler Nicholson, 242 pass yards, 5 touchdowns, 336 rushing, 3 touchdowns. They've got a lot of guys like that will have these receiving, rushing. They play defense. Like they've got like a handful of guys that basically do everything for them. And so,
that's how it is at these smaller schools.
It is. You're right.
1A and 4A, like your guys are going to be playing on both sides of the ball. They just don't have the numbers.
No doubt.
So you see that.
Yeah, and DeMarco Johnson, Jamari Daly, they've got a handful of guys that are like that. So, couple other games from last week that I wanted to shout out before we moved on.
Dang, I got way ahead of us. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It was in a weird spot in our rundown. For those of you who don't know, we put these rundowns together, and it was kind of towards the back end. So it would have made less sense for us to go back to it once we started this week. So that is it for my smaller teams.
Look at you, giving them smaller schools some love.
I'm trying.
We love to hear it. We love to see it. It's not that we don't love them. We absolutely do. It's just like...
There's so much to cover.
And also the smaller schools are relatively all farther from us. And it's harder for us to get out there and do that with the resources that we have. And so we do our best.
Yeah, and it's not always the easiest to get video or stats. And, so... But when we can, we try and give them some love. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, alrighty, now we got to move on to our Big Friday Kickoff game. This is I think going into the season, we didn't think about how important this matchup would be, but as the season has gone on, this is a very important 6A matchup. Gulf Shores at St. Paul's. Both of these teams are coming into this one at 2-1 in the region, and I think that the reason that this game is so much more important is because St. Paul's dropped that one to Theodore, one that we probably kind of thought St. Paul's would win because they were up so early and had such a heavy lead on them that when they lost this game, it was like, this Gulf Shores St. Paul's game really might mean something. Yeah. So we are going to be going out to St. Paul's this week, E.E. Delaney Field?
Yes.
Stadium?
Field.
Okay.
I've never understood why some places are stadiums and some are fields.
Yeah, that's going to be a good thing for us to kind of... The field versus stadium debate.
Because most places will have a stadium name and a field name.
I mean, if you think about it, Bryant-Denny is Bryant-Denny Stadium, but now it's called Sabin Field.
Exactly.
So,
and
it just depends on the school and what they want to name it.
Yeah, Kentucky has that. We're Kroger Field. No. Yeah, we used to be...
Kroger Field or Kroger Stadium?
No. We used to be Commonwealth Stadium, and then the field was named, Rich Brooks Field or something.
We're Vaught Hemingway Stadium. I don't feel like our field... I'm talking about Ole Miss. I don't think our field has a name.
Sometimes it's different, but then sometimes places go by field and then sometimes they go by stadium.
Yeah, definitely a debate for another time. We could go down a rabbit hole with this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going out there. On the year, Gulf Shores is 2-3, St. Paul's 4-1. This one, I think this one's going to be really important. Mark Hudspeth in his 5th year at Gulf Shores, Ham Barnett in his 4th season at St. Paul's. Both just really, really good head coaches. So you got to imagine they're going to do everything they can to have their teams prepared for this matchup. St. Paul's leads the overall series 9-2, and they've won the last 7 in a row.
Yep.
So Gulf Shores would obviously like to come in here and try and shake that up a little bit, get one up on the Saints. The Saints won 26-14 last year in Gulf Shores. But look, the Dolphins, they're kind of climbing back. They've had a pretty difficult season. And this is the thing, and I've talked about it before. Since they've made this jump from 5A to 6A, I mean, there's definitely been some growing pains.
Sure.
They've struggled. 6A Region 1 is just an absolute...
Right.
I don't even know how to put it into words. I mean, but other than I've said it, I'll say it again. It really is the SEC down here because we have so many top teams, and Gulf Shores trying to break into 6A Region 1 and kind of find their place. It has been difficult for them. So they have won the last 2 straight since starting the season 0-3. and Judd Harris at quarterback. I mean, talk a little bit about that junior, what he's been able to do.
Yeah, I mean, this is his third year as a starter. He was injured last year. He's been good.
I mean, 55% of his passes, 760 yards, 7 touchdowns. I mean, not bad.
No. They haven't gotten as much on the ground from him as I think they have in the past, and I think that kind of leads into some of the. They're just very middle of the road on offense right now. They have Elijah Malone, who's pretty big in special teams. And they've got talent on offense. I mean, Darian Kirksey and Corey Davis, like those are really good, or Carter Davis, I'm sorry, really good receivers that have next level potential. Nick Hampton at tight end. But their defense has really been good all year. I mean, if you go back, they lost to Choctawhatchee 21-14. That's a good Florida team that they played last year. Also beat them.
Yeah. But close. I mean, just by a touchdown.
Yeah, the Mary G. Montgomery game, one of the best teams in 7A. They only lost by 3, 22-19. And really, when you look at and Saraland is Saraland. I mean, they beat them 43-14.
Yeah, their worst loss of the season.
But when you look at some of the stats from some of those first 2 games, their defense really, didn't let these teams do exactly what they wanted to do outside of that Saraland game. So I think St. Paul's is much closer to their talent level than maybe the first 3 games were. So, I think this is the one where we'll learn a lot about them. The McGill game, I think, showed us that, they were definitely one of the teams competing for a playoff spot. But this game in particular will be one where I think we're going to learn a lot about Gulf Shores.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the rest of their season, I mean, after they play St. Paul's this week, they play Spanish Fort, Theodore, Baldwin County, Murphy. You've got to think that they could potentially get, and you got to see how this week goes against St. Paul's, of course. If I had to pick, I'm picking St. Paul's to win this one. But I think Gulf Shores could beat Spanish Fort. I think Theodore probably will beat them, but they beat Baldwin County, they beat Murphy. I mean, if they get that win over Spanish Fort, you could see them, I think we could see them being the 4th and final team to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt. And, with them ending with Baldwin County and Murphy, I mean, you're almost guaranteed a 4-4 record, because they're sitting at 2-1 right now. So worst case scenario, you lose those other 3. You're still 4-4, and hopefully the McGill tiebreaker matters more than maybe say a Spanish Fort tiebreaker would.
Probably.
You know what
right.
I mean?
You're right.
But maybe not. So. Yeah, but this will be a big game for them. I think, just especially from a confidence standpoint too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, they are going to have their hands full with Anthony Tank Jones.
Yeah.
This kid is, that's why he's listed on the roster as an athlete, because he really is, he's been the Swiss Army knife for St. Paul's.
Right.
He does it on offense. He does it on defense. He even threw for a touchdown against Theodore. I was there in that game. He was at Wildcat. I'm thinking he's just going to run it like he tends to do. And he just gets on his tiptoes and just tosses it in the end zone.
Right.
There's really nothing that he cannot do. Committed to Oregon, just an absolute superstar for the Saints. He's a big name, a big-time recruit in our state, one of the top players in Alabama, not just down here in our region. He's one of the top players in Alabama, and, he really – Gulf Shores is going to have their hands full trying to stop him on all sides of the ball. So, I think overall this is going to be a really, really good matchup. Another thing I want to mention is there's a quarterback and a wide receiver for St. Paul's that are stepbrothers.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this. And it's Parker Davis and why can't I think of the quarterback's name right now?
Hayden Fincher.
Hayden Fincher. Okay, so they're stepbrothers.
Yep.
And when I was watching them in the Theodore game, Hayden Fincher threw a touchdown pass to Parker Davis. Parker Davis reaches out, one hand, and just brings it in.
That's
it was
cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It was it's something you see on ESPN top, Sports Center top 10 plays. I just think that is so cool. I'm sure that happens all the time that siblings play on the same team or with each other, but I don't know how
especially in high school, because you would think you go to the same school.
Yeah, you would think so, but at the same time, like, it's really cool that a brother is throwing TD passes to his stepbrother. Like, it's just cool.
Well, especially for them both to be pretty good, I mean,
they've both been standouts for this this St. Paul's team.
Fincher, that is, I'm glad you mentioned him. That is one thing I'll be keeping an eye on, because if you look, Gulf Shores is, outside of Jameson Roberts, played quarterbacks really, really well. Their defense has, and so you get a younger sophomore who's been playing lights out this season, 14 touchdowns, 1 pick. I'll be curious to see how Coach Hudd and that defense, what they do to try and throw him off his game in this matchup, for sure.
I really cannot believe that he's just a sophomore.
I know.
I mean, he seems so much older, playing-wise.
Right.
Seems very mature.
Yeah.
So definitely going to be an interesting one for us to keep an eye on. We're super excited to go out there. Me and meteorologist Nicholas Herboso.
There you go.
We'll bring you all your game previews, live interviews. Of course, we're going to have Ham Barnett join the set at 5 o'clock, Saints head coach. This is his 4th season there. He was the defensive coordinator before, so he's been with the Saints for a good amount of time, and I think that he's probably gonna he wants this.
Yeah, no doubt.
Wants this badly. But Coach Hudd on the flip side, he wants it too. I mean, that guy, it's hard to describe Coach Hudd's personality.
Sure.
They are different in that aspect. I will say Coach Hudd is just a big ball of energy at all times, runs his practices like college practices, because he has coached at the college level, and then you got Ham Barnett on the flip side. To me, seems a little more mellow, but you make him mad, that's a whole that's a whole nother thing. I've seen him on the sidelines when he's taking off his headset and been a little fired up. So I'm excited to see these two go head to head on Friday night.
One thing you need to do is you need to press him out there about how he tried to downplay how good his team was this year before the season.
That is true. Whenever I talk to him, I think he did a joint OTA with Davidson.
That's right. Yep.
And I went out there and I asked him, and I was like, Coach, y'all are supposed to be pretty good this year. And he's like, no, we're not. We're young. I mean, not saying that they weren't going to be good, but that maybe they weren't going to be everyone has these expectations. Sure. Your expectations are here. And I think he tried to downplay those expectations a little bit. He has to do that. He's a head coach.
I get it.
You can't be a head coach going in there saying my team's going to go this and this, and we're going to win these games. And because my thing is, if he's wrong, people will come back and say it's much easier to say no, we're not going to be that good, and then shock everybody. I mean, I say shock. We're not shocked.
Sure.
But it's easier to do that than the flip side and be like, okay, we're going to be really good. We're going to win XYZ amount of games, and then you end up being not so great. It's
true.
Because then you can get easily you make your fans a little angry.
That's right.
So I definitely think this is going to be a good one Friday night. Looking forward to it. We're excited to go out there. We've gone out to St. Paul's every year that we've had Big Friday Kickoff. So we always have a blast. The cheerleaders are going to come out and join us at 5 o'clock, I believe. I think the band is going to join us at 4. We're excited.
It'll be fun.
So another very, very, this is the biggest game of the week by far. That's why it is our, Eastern Shore Toyota game of the week, is because it is absolutely huge. This is a 4A matchup going down up in Jackson between number 2 St. Michael and the number 1 Aggies. Dayton's going to be up there for this one. I mean, this game has been circled on our calendar since the beginning of the season, and it's just as important now as it was when the season started. Jackson, they're the reigning 4A state champion. They'd love to go back-to-back in this situation, but this is going to be an absolute quarterback battle.
Right.
Because you've got Landon Duckworth, 4-star South Carolina commit on one side, and then he's our reigning player of the year, and for good reason.
Yep.
And then on the other side, you've got Cardinals 4-star quarterback, Gunnar Rivers, who's also Phillip Rivers' son.
Yep.
one of your favorite NFL quarterbacks. Maybe he is your favorite.
Oh, he's my favorite, yeah.
Yeah, he's your favorite NFL quarterback. So, but these two guys, this isn't the only star power that they have. Absolutely, this is going to be a quarterback battle, but they've got star power all over these rosters. I mean, we've talked about it before. Jackson, they've got Alabama commit E.J. Crowell, Isaiah Jet Gladney. You're going to hear this, and it's the nicknames for me.
Right.
I love the nicknames. He is wide receiver and linebacker. And then we've got North Carolina commit Keegan Chapman, also wide receiver and defensive back. And then we've got 4-star Jamarian Juice Gordon.
Yep.
at wide receiver and safety. And then, but that's just for Jackson. And then on the flip side of that, you've got St. Michael, who has Noah Moss at running back, Brody Jones at wide receiver and defensive back, and then Tucker Tomlinson at wide receiver. And you look at all these names. These are names that we hear week in and week out in 4A. They all have the potential to be player of the week every week. They all have the potential to be player of the year. So just a lot of talent on both sides of the ball when it comes to them. But another thing we got to talk about is Jackson. They've had to deal with some injuries, and we've talked about this before. You've got I don't want to say his name incorrectly. Kean Red Chapman.
Yep.
He's been out since week 1 with a knee injury, and the Aggies have also lost 3 starting offensive linemen along the way, 2 to injury and 1 to transfer.
Interesting.
So Jackson, although that they got the win in this one last year, both of these teams look a little different because Jackson's had to deal with the injury bug.
Yeah.
And I think that this might be the one year that St. Michael might have a chance. I'm going to say it.
Yeah, I mean, these two played twice last year, once in the regular season, once in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson won both of them. First one 55-16, the one in the playoffs 49-28. And some of this can point to the offensive line as being part of the problem. This Jackson offense is like 17th in 4A right now or something like that. So they have not been the overwhelming 50 points a game kind of offense that we were used to.
St. Michael?
No, Jackson.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yes,
yeah, that we were used to last year.
Yes, and I think it has to do with the injuries.
Right, but their defense, on the other hand, has been really holding teams to nothing, basically.
Hey, defense wins championships.
Yeah, and so, to me, this is about the Jackson defense versus the St. Michael offense, which feels like it picked up right where it left off last season and has just continued to get better every single week. I mean, they put up at least 40 points every single week.
They haven't scored less than 41 points in a game.
Exactly.
All season.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yes. Now, they've been susceptible to giving points up. I mean, W.S. Neal gave them a game for up until the fourth quarter, basically, of that one. John Carroll put up 28 on them. So I will be very interested to see now, and St. Michael also got a bye this week, so they're also coming in rested. They're coming in rested,
but they're going on the road.
They are
in a hostile environment.
That's right.
And these two teams could not be more different when it comes to. I mean, St. Michael's probably quote unquote your city boys, and then Jackson, those are those cornbread fed country boys.
Yes,
I mean, they do not play. So I mean, this is probably one of the games, like I said, been circled on our calendar. I'm most excited for.
Yeah, and
Jason's going to have a show.
And anyone who follows this knows why this game is so big. You know, there's only so much analysis we can give. It's like, look, these are the top 2 teams in 4A with 2 of the best quarterbacks in the state, definitely 2 of the best in their classes. You know what the deal is with these two, you know?
Yeah. This is another cool thing that I've seen. Jackson has only lost twice in the past 2 seasons, both times to 6A Saraland.
Right.
St. Michael has only lost twice in the last 2 seasons, both times to Jackson. Yep. So, I mean, I just think that that's like a really cool stat to look at. Like the both of these teams being as talented as they are, their only losses come to, I mean, they keep running against that wall, and for Jackson, that wall is Saraland, like a non-region opponent, and for St. Michael, their wall is Jackson. I think if St. Michael can get past Jackson, they can get past anyone.
Oh, for sure.
So, I mean, I think this is just, it's going to be an absolute interesting one for sure. If you look at the offensive numbers as far as what St. Michael looks like compared to Jackson this season, I mean, Gunnar Rivers, the numbers for him look better.
Yes.
Compared to Landon Duckworth. I mean, Duckworth has passed for 9 touchdowns, rushed for 191 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then if you look at the flip side, I got to find my numbers on Gunnar Rivers over here because he has just absolutely been getting it done all season long. So I can't find it.
Yeah, he is.
You probably got it in front of you.
I do.
Okay, good. Help me out here.
Over 1,100 yards, 21 touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean, it's just stupid. 74% of his passes, Yeah, he's absolutely killing it. Noah Moss picking up right where he left off. 746 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean that offense is as good as advertised.
Okay, see, it was right in front of my face. Okay, yes, so I had it. I just couldn't find it. Lord have mercy. Anyway, so yeah, this is definitely just going to be an absolute quarterback battle. Stars all over the place, going head to head. Another thing to mention, I think, is like the fact that how good St. Michael's program has gotten since Phillip Rivers took it over. I mean, but for good reason.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a former NFL great quarterback, will probably be in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
I mean, easily, and he's turned that you can be a great quarterback and also be a great head coach.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, I think this is going to be a really, really good one. But Coach Flo, too, on Jackson's side, I mean, he's absolutely been getting it done for them. So just talented quarterbacks, talented head coaches, talented offenses, talented defenses. I mean, this is going to be an absolute movie. Get your popcorn ready.
Yep.
I am so excited for it. I hope that it delivers everything that we're expecting it to be. I hope it doesn't. I would rather it over-deliver than under-deliver.
Right.
So I'm definitely looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be a good matchup.
No doubt. And speaking of good matchups, our Hustlin' Howls got a pretty good one down in 3A.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. Cottage Hill at T.R. Miller. Last week, Cottage Hill defeated Choctaw County 44-0.
Yep.
I mean, absolutely just ran through Choctaw County, and then T.R. Miller lost to UMS Wright 29-6. Obviously, we talked about that game earlier. But I don't think you can take anything away from T.R. Miller. These are two of the top teams in 3A.
Both top 10.
Cottage Hill is number 10, and then T.R. Miller's number 3. So this is going to be a very important matchup in regards to playoff seeding.
Yes, no doubt. And, this is... We've been high on Cottage Hill all year,
The Tootle brothers.
The Tootle boys, yeah.
The Tootle brothers.
And their biggest test so far has probably been Hillcrest Evergreen on the road in region, and they won 17-13. Yeah. Hillcrest Evergreen is a very solid team, could make the playoffs. But these next 2 weeks, this is where we're going to learn how good Cottage Hill is. I mean, they go at T.R. Miller, then host Bayside. Like those are your opponents in this region, and they're outscoring teams right now 210-49. The offense has been rolling for Cottage Hill, and it's all on the back of the Tootle brothers, and especially Shamar at quarterback, one of the best passers in 3A. He's over 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Ran the ball for 313 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's really just been a weapon for him, and he's got pass catchers and Metzner and the freshman Aaron Ward, who had a big game last week. So, yeah, this is going to be fun. We're going to see how good Cottage Hill really is, because that T.R. Miller team is about as rock solid as it gets. So.
Yeah, I mean, Carvel Jones, he's 10-15 in his third season at Cottage Hill, going head-to-head with Ronnie Cottrell, who's 5-1 in his first season at T.R. Miller. But overall, he's 181 and 124 years overall.
Yep.
So you've got Ronnie Cottrell, who's been doing this a very, very long time, going up against Carvel Jones, but with a very red-hot Cottage Hill team.
Yeah.
For T.R. Miller, on their side, their leading passer is sophomore Cole McMillan. He's got 569 yards, 8 touchdowns, and then we've got 4 players who have rushed for at least 100 yards. Marquise English, TJ Hansen, Kevin Henderson Jr., and Antoine Dees. So there's some firepower on both sides of for both of these teams as well.
Yeah. And this is one where Cottage Hill's going to have the best player on the field in Shadarius Tootle,
Yeah, committed to Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, he I'm pretty sure he flipped from Auburn
to
Georgia.
Yep, he leads them in tackles. They throw him on offense when they need to. Caleb Metzner, aside also being their tight end and second leading pass catcher, he leads 3A in sacks with 11. So they've just got a lot of dudes all over the place. And you mentioned Carvel Jones. I mean, wins 2 games his first year, 3 games last year, and now he's matched his total wins at Cottage Hill this year with 5.
And T.R. Miller's never lost to Cottage Hill. Like they're 11-0 in this.
Oh, are they really?
They're 11-0 in this series. But if there's any chance for Cottage Hill to get one over on the Tigers, I mean, this absolutely is the year. And only one game between the two teams has been decided by single digits.
Wow.
T.R. Miller won 40-34 in overtime in 2017. And the Warriors are 5-0 for the first time since 2018. So, like I said, if Cottage Hill wants to do it, this is absolutely the year to do it. And I think that, I mean, we've talked about it. These teams are the top teams in 3A up there beside Bayside Academy. And I still think Flomaton's up there, too.
They are. They fell out of the top 10 after the Bayside game, obviously.
I mean, we kind of could have expected that one.
Sure. But yeah, 3A is tough. It is. We've got, I think, 3 or 4 legitimate really good teams down there, and I think Hillcrest Evergreen's no pushover either. So
I agree.
It's going to be interesting to see how that region plays out.
Hustlin' House Sherrick is going to be out there for that one. He will bring you your game preview at 4:30 during Big Friday Kickoff, and then, of course, he will have your full game recap once everything wraps up. We should be going on at normal time Friday night, 10 o'clock. We do have college volleyball, women's college volleyball, so tune into that and then catch us with all the highlights right after. We'll bring you all the highlights in those games. Now, we're not done yet. We still got a couple more, well, a few more to talk about, actually. There is one that I want to talk about in 5A because I'm going to be going out and shooting this game, hopefully. I'm going to leave St. Paul's and go right down the road, Old Shell Road, and shoot this matchup between Citronelle and UMS Wright.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. I forgot you were planning on going to this. I need to fix
the rundown?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, typically, I don't go out and shoot a game on Friday nights just because things have been so hectic and so crazy. I am a little nervous just because, like, I have to go out and shoot it, and we're going on at normal time. We're not going on at that. Yeah. So I am a little nervous about it, but hopefully I can get there, get the highlights I need in the first quarter. Hopefully, I still think this could potentially be a good one. Citronelle, they've just kind of definitely struggled this season, and UMS Wright, I mean, they're looking good. So I think that UMS will probably get the win in this one. Citronelle's 2-4, UMS Wright's 3-2. This one is going to be at UMS Wright, and Citronelle, they're coming off a loss to Alma Bryant, 18-13. Alma Bryant is one of the lower teams in 7A Region 1. But, I mean, a 7A team going up against a 5A team, I'm going to give Citronelle some grace here.
And Citronelle, I will say, I was watching this game. They scored a long touchdown. I believe it was, I think it was, Kobe Weaver.
Okay, yeah.
He scored a long touchdown to take the lead, and I don't know what happened, but I guess it looked like it got called back. So I thought Citronelle had won this game in real time when I was watching it.
Penalties will get you.
Yeah, they
got to be more disciplined.
It's weird, right? Because they're a team that lost to Orange Beach, who just lost to Robertsdale. They get destroyed by Williamson, which is a totally separate thing. I mean, we can talk about the 100-0 Williamson game if we want to in a minute.
Oh man!
But then they play Viger tough. They were up on Viger in the fourth quarter.
Citronelle,
yeah, Citronelle just a couple weeks ago. And then they lose that one. This team lost so many key players on both sides of the ball, but in particular on offense. And they've struggled to find consistency at quarterback. They've struggled to really run the ball. I don't know. I think UMS is going to come out and take care of business.
I mean, I'm kind of thinking the same. I love my Citronelle peeps.
Oh, we both do.
We had such a blast when we went out there.
Shout out to the Sea City Riders.
Oh my God, you and these Sea City Riders! I cannot. He wanted us to get the Sea City Riders on the show, and if you don't know who they are,
reach out to us, guys.
Look up the Sea City Riders on YouTube.
Early 2000s rap group. They were football players at Citronelle. Got radio play around here. Listen, reach out to us, guys. Come on the podcast.
Robert is a huge fan and would love y'all to come on and be a guest. So if there's any chance at all,
I mean, when I was a kid, it was the only thing I knew about Citronelle. I didn't know where it was or that it was a school. It was just I just knew the Sea City Riders. So
you know what? You know who Gulf Coast Athletics is?
Yeah.
Sorry, I know this is random, but they just retweeted one of my tweets because for Player of the Week for the third week in a row, a Gulf Coast Athletics quarterback has been named Fox 10 Player of the Week. Christian Seeger, Davis Barnett, and then Sammy Dunn.
Hey, how about that?
That's pretty interesting. I did not know that. They got something going on over there at Gulf Coast Athletics. They're producing some quarterbacks. So, anyways, back to this game. Like you said, I do think UMS Wright goes in here and kind of handles business here. Citronelle, I don't know if I said this, but they're 2-4. UMS Wright 3-2. I mean, Citronelle, it's kind of like do or die at this point on the back half of the season. I mean, it's going to come down to probably them and BC Rain, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it will. But the thing with BC Rain is they've got LaFleur, then they play Citronelle, and then they got Faith and Viger. So, they could go.
Citronelle has. They play BC Rain next week.
Right.
And then they've got LaFleur and Alberta.
Yeah.
And then they have a bye on the last week of the
So, it's really about these two teams and who wins that tiebreaker between the two of them, for that last spot, I think.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I mean, even though this isn't necessarily the season that Citronelle probably would have hoped for, we've talked about it before. I mean, Jason Rao really kind of turned this program around.
No doubt.
They had such a good season last season. I think they went 1-9 before he got there, and then 6-4 his first year, and then 9-2.
Yes,
something like that.
Yeah.
It's been on the steady incline.
Yeah,
and you have to think they had. We've said this before too. They lost 20 seniors to graduation, and when you have that much turnover, there's going to be some growing pains. You've got a lot of younger players, a lot of guys that have never played varsity before or never even played in a high school game.
Yeah,
very likely. So.
And they've got some good young players. I mean, Kobe Weaver, Braylon Williams, they've got some guys. McCovery.
They do, and I could definitely see that. Even though this might not be Citronelle's year in a couple years, I think they're going to be a team in 5A definitely to keep an eye on. I mean, they were on a 4-game losing streak against UMS Wright last year, and up until last year they were on a 4-game losing streak, and then they got that win over UMS last year. So I know they'd like to see that repeated this year. They beat them 14-7 last year, but. I mean, overall in this matchup, the Bulldogs, it's 17-9-1 in this series. So, and with them looking the way they look this year and Citronelle looking the way they look, it's going to be pretty tough. They're trying to end a 3-game losing streak. They've lost now to Faith Academy and Williamson and Viger.
Yes,
and then Alma Bryant, of course. So it's.
Looking tough
for the Wildcats right now. But that they've got Camarcus Howard, and he's really been leading that offense. Yep. He's a senior. I mean, I think he's one of their few seniors that they have. And then I'm trying to see. He's rushed for 289 yards, 3 touchdowns, passed for 169 yards, 2 touchdowns. And you got junior Timothy Rivers. He leads the defense with 54 tackles, 8 tackals for loss. I mean, they do have signs of life. They do have some players that do well. UMS has won 3 of their last 4 games. Their only loss coming against number 1 Viger. 39-26 was the final in that one. We talked about this earlier. Max Fowler, he may have had his worst game. We talked about him having his worst game against T.R. Miller, but he's completing 62% of his passes, 1,010 yards, 6 touchdowns. He's also scored 5 rushing touchdowns. Then we've got Richard Scott. He's rushed for almost 290 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also has almost 270 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. And then Perry Hand leads the defense with 61 tackles.
Yeah.
So we talked about all these other teams and the talent they have. I mean, there's going to be no shortage of talent for these guys too. You've got your names that stand out, your guys that put up some points, and so it's going to be a battle.
Kobe Weaver is a sophomore, just through 6 games has 5 interceptions on defense. So
holy moly, that's a stat for you.
Yeah, basically getting
shout
one a game.
Shout out Kobe Weaver.
Yeah, basically getting 1 a game.
Kobe.
Kobe.
Oh man. So yeah, I think that's definitely going to be a game to keep an eye on. I will be out there shooting the highlights in that one. So yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens. Going to get to catch up. Hopefully, I'll get to see Jason Rowell and get to talk to Sam Williams when I get out there.
Yeah.
Did you know that Sam Williams is 85-26 in 9 years overall in his coaching career? I did not know that.
From Mississippi also?
Yes,
Yeah.
from Mississippi. Yeah. And then, Jason Rowell on the flip side is 50-32 in 8 years. But 85-26?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I didn't know that. Look at Sam Williams, Mississippi guy, getting it done over here. Well, alrighty. I think that you've got some other ones that you definitely wanted to mention that we've got coming up this week.
Yeah, I want to, again, give a shout out to some 2A schools. JU Blackshear and St. Luke's play this week. That will be that'll kind of be, because right now St. Luke's is sitting at 3, JU Blackshear is sitting at 4 in the region. St. Luke's is 2-1 in the region. JU Blackshear is 1-1. Blackshear wins this, can get the tiebreaker. That'll put them in a good spot to at least be a 3 seed, and still they've got an opportunity to move up and once they play Washington County. So definitely want to keep an eye on that game because, last year St. Luke's was the 4 seed in 2A, and it came down to a tiebreaker with Chickasaw basically at the end of the season to kind of seal that. So Blackshear definitely looking for a win there. We got 3 undefeated region teams in 1A with Leroy, Southern Choctaw, and Milry. And then we've got McIntosh, Marengo, and Fruitdale all sitting at 1 and 2 behind them for the 4th spot. So seeing what kind of plays out there. Shockingly, Sweetwater 0-3 in region play. They're 1-4 overall. They just a big fall off from last year. But yeah, just a couple little smaller games. I think we've mostly touched on other stuff in all the other regions. An interesting thing about 7A this week, your top 4 seeds right now, MGM, Fairhope, Daphne, Baker, all play the bottom 4 teams this week. So MGM plays Alma Bryant, Fairhope plays Foley, Daphne plays Davidson, Baker plays Robertsdale.
So no big 7A matchups this week.
No, but potential for some big upsets, I guess.
Could be.
So,
Doubtful.
Fairhope Foley, I guess that would be an upset, but I
don't know if I see. Foley's young.
Yeah.
Foley's young, and I think Fairhope has the momentum. I've been wrong before. We've both been wrong before.
Absolutely.
So, we're just going to kind of have to wait and see.
Yep. So, yeah, those are the little notes I had for this week. What you got over there, college?
I'm trying to see if South Alabama plays this week. October 4th, is that this Saturday?
Yeah.
Holy crap, the Battle of the Belt.
Whoa.
South Alabama at Troy.
Is that what that game's for?
The Battle for the Belt.
Okay.
Yeah. I wonder if Dayton Smith's going to be up there covering that one.
He
You
should
think he'll go. I would think that he would.
He should.
I would think that he would.
We'll have to check with him.
We will have to double check with him. I haven't seen him much this week because this is technically my Tuesday. We're just kind of on opposite schedules up until we get up to the Thursday point. But we'll have to check in and see if he's going to be there for that one. I would imagine that he would be.
You would think so, yeah.
Auburn is on a bye this
Right.
week. I would say that they definitely need it. They're coming off that loss to Texas A&M, 16-10, and I think that Auburn, the way I've seen it this season, is they had so much potential to walk away with wins in most of their games, and they just can absolutely not finish.
Right.
And I'm by no means a Hugh Freeze fan whatsoever, so I'd love to say that I hate to see it.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
You thought I was a Hugh Freeze fan?
No, I know you're not.
Are you being sarcastic?
Yes.
I'm so bad at picking up sarcasm. I'm the absolute worst. But yeah, I just don't. I hate it because, I've got family that are big time Auburn fans that, not that I think that Hugh. I don't need to say too much here.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah. Let me just say that, I had very high expectations.
Right.
For Hugh Freeze and what he was going to do at Auburn, and it's been very lackluster. And I think myself, along with Auburn fans, are probably also disappointed in what they have seen so far. Because if you think of, that South Alabama game against Auburn was only
very close,
31-15.
Yep.
So Auburn, the season don't get easier for them.
It doesn't get easier for anybody in the SEC.
No,
almost any SEC team can look at their schedule and be like, "It's about to get hard." It's like, it's everybody.
After they're on a bye this week, then they play the Deep South's oldest rivalry against Georgia. Like, that's probably going to be an L. And then you've got Missouri, the number 19 team in the country, and then they play Arkansas, who just lost their head coach, Sam Pittman, and
round 2 with Bobby Petrino.
Woo, Big Suey. It's tough up there in Arkansas, let me tell you. And when your athletic director is saying, like, we don't have the resources, like, oh, Sam Pittman didn't have the resources to be how do you say, what type of sense does that make?
I don't know. They got Tyson Chicken up there. That's their big sponsor, or that's their big donor.
We didn't give you the resources to be successful, so we're going to fire you. You're basically saying it's as the athletic director, you're saying it's my fault. But we're going to fire you.
Well, listen, they took all that chicken money and spent it on John Calipari for basketball. So thank you, Arkansas.
They do. They put their money into their basketball teams. They put their money into their baseball teams.
They're a split school for the most part. That's the other problem with them is they're one of those schools that really takes their baseball team seriously.
But football pays the bills. I get it. I get that you've got that your baseball team also they choke it every moment that they get to go.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I'll just say it, but like football pays the bills.
Yep.
If you put all your effort into your football team and they're the one that makes all the money. Don't let me get too off on that rant. But after they play Arkansas, then they play you guys on November 1st.
It's an L.
They're hosting you guys. Are you going to go to the game?
No, I'm not going to that game.
I might.
Oh, you should go to it. Report back.
And then Auburn plays number 16 Vanderbilt on November 8th. Then they obviously play Mercer, and then we have the Iron Bowl to wrap up the season.
Yep.
So, I want to say it doesn't get easier for Auburn, but I mean they've got some easy. Kentucky's and Mercer are probably their easiest game on the schedule.
Yeah,
I would say Arkansas, but crazier things have happened. I just don't think Jackson Arnold is. What are they doing?
I don't know.
At quarterback.
I don't watch them. I can barely watch my team, to be honest with you. So
I'm sorry.
I can't watch anyone who's like remotely mediocre to good.
I get it. Well, speaking of mediocre, I take that back. Alabama's not mediocre. Alabama plays Vandy.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Hey, that's a big game.
I think I'm going to be going up for that one. Well, I got to talk to the powers that be and see if
that's next weekend, right?
No, it's this weekend.
I thought they were on a bye this week.
No, Auburn's on a bye.
Oh, okay.
Alabama's playing Vandy.
Gotcha.
Well, okay, I say mediocre. Alabama's number 10.
Yeah.
I guess for me, when you speak of Alabama, you speak of them being like 1
it's not what
4,
we're used to.
Yeah, number 10. It's just not there. That's just not what you're used to when you talk about Alabama football. But obviously, things have changed since we got old DeBoer taken over. But Vanderbilt's number 16.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're good.
You don't talk about this is not your grandpa's Vanderbilt.
Yep.
Like, this is typically Vanderbilt's the worst team in the SEC. Now it's Kentucky.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to be like Vanderbilt about 6 years ago. Like, holy cow, they're top 15. No, well, we're not top 15.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to put
top 15 in worst coaching contracts. Thank you, Mitch Barnhart and Jimmy Sexton.
Oh, well, I mean, Alabama really, really needs this win this weekend because Vanderbilt beat them last year.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And that was just when everybody was just like,
yeah,
shocking. I don't know if you watched last week, but Diego Pavia, their quarterback, that's just like the top. To me, like when you think of like high profile names in the SEC. To me, Diego Pavia is probably number 1. He's one of them.
Certainly one of the most well-known.
Yes, it could definitely would say that. At the end of the game last week, Alyssa Lang, I love her to death. She's one of like my favorite. When you look at women who do what I do, she's like cream of the crop, top of the business. Diego Pavia and Alyssa Lang at the end of the game saying like Vanderbilt's. What's their
fight song?
No, not the fight. What am I trying to say? Is it a song? There's no way a song's called like an alma mater, is it?
Yeah, it's the that is what they call
it. Is that alma mater? Like you can sing the alma mater?
I think so.
If this is wrong,
I'm pretty sure. I think that's what they call it. I think that's what they call it.
Is it?
Yeah. Maybe. Sing my alma mater. Yeah. That's it.
I guess that would make sense. But anyways, so they sang it together. It's just a really cool clip, like a really cool moment. I think that Diego Pavia is like an easy guy to like. I just feel like even if you're not a Vanderbilt fan, like you kind of root for him.
I don't.
Even though, well, what? Because he's been there for 10 years.
Well, yeah,
or is Vanderbilt like a team that Kentucky would consider like?
We do not consider Vanderbilt a rival. No, that is not. We're not that low. Okay.
Whoa! Look, your team is trash this year.
Listen,
don't speak on Vandy like that.
No,
anchor down.
No, not anchor down. I will say for Alabama, as somebody whose team has lost to Vandy 2 straight years, it's not fun. So don't let yourself do it.
Like I said, though, this is not your grandpa's Vandy, so Alabama gonna have to watch out. I think that if Alabama loses to Vandy this week, that Alabama fans will just like combust.
It would be bad.
Have you ever seen the first Shrek movie?
Oh yeah,
where she's singing to the bird and the bird's trying to sing back to her, and then the bird just explodes.
Yes.
Like that's how I would imagine that Alabama fans are gonna be if they lose to Vanderbilt this weekend. But I will say they got home field advantage. That last year they were in Vanderbilt's house. This year, oh God, the mic again.
The mic again. Strikes
I'm
again.
The mic hitting Bandit. Like it comes for me.
Yep.
Anyways, before we wrap, I have to talk about the fact that Ole Miss beat LSU.
Go for it. We were watching it for a lot of us at work were at a wedding this weekend. Our Natalie Williamson got married. She is on her honeymoon this week, so congratulations to Natalie. But yes, a lot of us had our phones out watching this game.
Congratulations, Nat. I hate that I missed it, but this was going up to Oxford. This was the only weekend that LSU, or not LSU, but Auburn and Alabama were both like away, or I think they were both away. They were both away. And so this was the only chance.
Yeah.
And I haven't been back to Oxford for a football game specifically. I went in the spring for double decker, but I haven't seen a football game in person in like quite some time.
Right.
So like I had to go back. I was itching to go back. That's where I got my degree from. It's where I've been going up to the Grove since I was like 5-6 years old. Shout out to my grandmother. I call her Bugsy for giving me the love of this team. It's probably a big reason why I'm such a big sports person in general, is because I grew up going to Ole Miss football games, and I fell in love with just being at a game and the atmosphere of it, and just like the bright lights and the fans and the cheering, and just like I just have always loved it. So to get to go back to a place that like sparked the love I have for what I do was like, I was so nostalgic. Like, I wish you could have seen me at the end of the game. Like, my friend Gabby was with me, and we were down on the field because I was, like, taking some photos, getting some video and stuff like that. And roll your eyes all you want. But, like, I worked there. I worked for Newswatch Ole Miss for 3.5 years in Rebel Radio. Like, I've got, I worked there. I went through their journalism program there. I've still, got to be down there and do some stuff for work, whatever. And at the very end of the game, I handed Gabby my phone. I said, stay here, don't move. Like, I'm running to the middle of the field to try and get a shot of Lane Kiffin. And I ended up being, like, at the middle of the field, I ended up being, like, right there in front of him. And I know the joys of being an Ole Miss fan. And I also know, like, the lows of being an Ole Miss fan. So when your team's doing good, it's just like, oh, my goodness, it's just, like, so rewarding. And so, yeah, it was fun to be down there and see all the players celebrating. And Lane Kiffin just absolutely fired up at the end as he's about to walk through the tunnel, just, like, throwing a punch in the air. And I loved it. I was literally just walking around the field just in awe.
Yeah.
Because it was just to be back there and get to see us get a win over LSU. We're the number 4 team in the country now. I hate that.
Right.
I don't want to be ranked that high. I really don't. It makes me nervous. I hate it. There's too much potential to screw up from here. But I don't know. It's just like, you see how I could talk about. Like, I'm just so happy.
You should be excited. Yeah.
So happy. We're on a bye this week, and we need some much needed rest. I think that, the quarterback situation.
Yeah, it's the other guy now, right?
The other guy, Trinidad Chambliss. I tweeted this, or X or whatever. I still say Twitter, whatever. I'm going to stay old school. It's another one of those underdog stories. Like, you're a D2 guy that comes in and our quarterback gets hurt and you step up and you just handle business. And that's exactly what he's done.
Yep.
I think he has proven himself as the starter. I think there's no doubt about it, no question. I'm sure there's people out there that have a different opinion than what I have, but I think that just like where you're at right now, he's the starter, no question, no doubt about it, and I think you just roll with him and until he gives you a reason not to, in my opinion. He's plays smart, he's disciplined, and he's a guy that's had a lot of experience at D2 level. I want to say they won a national championship at his previous school, so I love it.
And that segment was brought to you by the University of Mississippi.
Robert, okay, well, anyways, hotty toddy, I'm so happy. It was so nice to go back to Oxford. I literally left here Friday night when we got done with the show and everything. I probably left here at 11:30, almost midnight,
something like that,
and then had to go pick up Gabby, and then we got on the road. I did not get there until like 6 in the morning, slept for 3 hours, got up, got dressed, went to the Grove, literally said hey to some friends, and then walked to the stadium. Because it was like time, because I'm 2:30 kick, but you got to get inside and get a good spot and everything. I got my stadium nachos, which I'd been talking about all week. I was so fired up. I'm a huge jalapeno girly, so like I was like, yep, load me down with all the chips and cheese and like extra jalapenos, please. And so can you tell I had a great time?
Yeah, I can see it.
I'm sorry. I know it. I'm sorry.
No, I'm glad you had a good time. That's cool. You got to go.
I had a blast.
Yeah.
I had an absolute blast, and got to see some of my longtime friends. They all went up for the game, so it was just. I want to go back.
Good times.
It was great times. Great times. Also, and I'll close it out on this. I'm going to New Orleans this weekend.
Fun.
For the Saints game.
Yeah.
Because guess who the Saints are playing?
The Giants.
They're
Jackson
playing the
Dart.
Giants. Jackson Dart is the starting quarterback for New York now. They got their first win last week in his first start, so that was absolutely huge. And Jackson Dart has the #1 selling NFL jersey on Fanatics right now.
That's pretty cool.
So, gonna try and get one.
Yeah.
Ain't no telling what the prices are since everyone's trying to buy one.
Right.
But anyways, me and some of my friends are gonna go over to New Orleans and see a Saints game. The nosebleed seats are like $36 a ticket.
Hey, you can't beat that.
And New Orleans is always a good time. Yeah. So I'm so conflicted because like who do you pull for? Because I am a Saints fan. Like,
are you?
I will say when it comes to the Saints, I'm a fair weather fan.
Yeah.
I'm not dedicated.
They're just close.
They're just right there. Like, it's hard to me, personally, it's hard to be like a dedicated, like, professional football fan.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Just for me personally.
I'm not a fan of any pro sports teams.
Yeah, I like the Braves. I'll root for them. I root for the Cubs because of Justin Steele, like, local guy out of Lucedale. Like, I'll pull for him. And I pull for guys that played at Ole Miss. You know what I mean? I love Joe Burrow and Josh Allen just because, like, they were underdogs at one point.
Right.
You know, I pull for the underdogs. I pull for Ole Miss players. And then, obviously, now I got Jackson Dart. Like, he's the guy.
There you go.
He's the starter. And so, I'm going to be like, oh, what do I do?
Yeah.
I'll probably be.
You're going to root for the Giants.
Probably.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. I'm sorry for Saints fans. I'm just not a diehard.
Yeah.
I was growing up, but not anymore.
Yeah.
It's just they're. I'm sorry. The way that they're running things up there, I just think they're morons.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to watch a team that I care for get run into the ground by the powers that be who don't know enough about football to.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Jerry Jones in a lot of ways.
Yeah, a little bit.
But anyways, okay, so I've rambled on enough about Ole Miss and like all the places I'm going this week. You got any plans this weekend?
No.
Clearly my life is a lot more like all over the place than Robert's. I'm just happy you went to the wedding.
Yeah, no, it was a good time.
You had a blast.
Yeah.
You dressed up.
I did.
Looked pretty dapper.
Looked pretty spiffy.
Now you got a new Facebook profile pic.
That's true. Hey, look, I got a Facebook profile pic out of it.
I think that your Facebook profile pics only come from when you go out to work events.
Yeah, for the most part.
Your last one came from when they went out to Topgolf.
Those
for Lacey's going away party.
Those are the only places I take pictures. And I don't take pictures in any other walk of life.
Yeah. I guess you're right. We're going to have to get some pictures in here in the podcast for you. Just get you another chance.
Yeah, I could put our podcast logo.
Get another chance at a profile pic.
Yeah, let's
let this one ride for a little bit, and then we'll
yeah, this one's hot off the presses,
yeah,
all right?
You're
So
good.
we're leaving
it's
this
fresh.
one.
It's
this is good
fresh.
for at least 2 years.
I just changed mine, too.
Yeah.
Look at us, fresh profile pics.
There we go.
Spiffy people.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyways, anything else?
No.
I don't know if y'all know, but yesterday was National Podcast Day.
Okay. Well,
Episode 7 of us doing this. It's been a great
yes, it has.
7 weeks. We're through the halfway point of the season. A lot of big games still to come. This week's going to be great, of course, but I mean, it's going to get. You got to put your feet to the fire the closer we get towards the postseason. We're week 7, 11 weeks of the regular season, 15 weeks altogether once you get to the playoffs, the Super 7 and whatnot. So, really important.
Yeah.
Each week, more. I mean, not that none of them are important, but each week, where we're at now, they're getting more and more important.
That's right. And we'll be at an important one this week, Big Friday Kickoff at St. Paul's hosting
Gulf Shores.
Yep. Dacian will be out at
Jackson.
The big matchup, St.
Huge
Michael at Jackson. Hustlin' Hal, he'll be out at Cottage Hill TR Miller, top 10 3A game. And, of course, we'll have more highlights. We'll have all of our digital coverage, halftime show, Dacian's extended preview, which you'll definitely want to make sure you tune in for that because I think he's going to have a lot to say about both these teams. And it should be
absolutely.
Last time he did this for Jackson Saraland, awesome environment before the game. So Jackson,
it's going to be a packed house.
Yeah, Jackson's always a fun place to do stuff like this at. So should be exciting. So stick with us. Go hit subscribe, give us 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. Now that we're on there.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah, so definitely, subscribe, 5 stars, all that good stuff. But yeah, that's I think that about does it.
Yeah, I mean, we kick off. We got a couple Thursday games tomorrow night. Murphy Theodore, and then Chickasaw and Haneyville. Central Haneyville.
That's right.
We got that tomorrow night, and then of course Friday night all the action kicks off at 8 in the morning, and then me and I was about to say Hustlin' Hal. Me and Nicholas Herboso will be live starting at 3 during Fox 10 Live. We'll be out there until 6. Then we'll have your Facebook Live. Dacian will have his extended game of the week preview show. Then we'll have your halftime score updates at 8:30. Because I'll be racing back here from shooting the Citronelle UMS game.
Yes.
And then we'll have all your highlights at 10 o'clock. So a lot of good stuff, jam-packed week, full of action. It's going to be coming your way, so buckle up.
Yeah, definitely.
So thanks so much for sticking with us here on the Big Friday Kickoff Podcast. I'm Emily Cochran. He's Robert Ristaneo, and we will see you guys next week.